The Red Skelton Hour will not be seen tonight in order to bring you this special program.
CBS presents this program in color.
Stanley. From Hollywood, a salute to Stan Laurel.
You'll always find him where the joke is, where the chase and where the hope is, and no matter who the bloke is, he'll say,
Stanley,
pow, pow, pow.
What kind of a mess have you got us in now?
Who gets a kick from doing shtick? Stanley. Oh, he's a tough banana in our book. You can't forget that funny face, no matter how you try. He's called a clown in our hometown, Stanley. To help in our salute to you, here is another clown or two.
Oliver Hardy, the man who gave fat dignity, and Stan Laurel, the little man with a face like a grapefruit already squeezed. You know, there are people who think of Laurel and Hardy as a relic of yesterday, kind of a nostalgic recollection, a piece of grainy film. Believe it or not, that's his own face they're using there. These guys are hardly relics of yesterday. Today, decades after the camera stopped grinding, fans are still enjoying Laurel and Hardy in motion picture theaters. Get a load of the rest of this bit from MGM's newly released full-length feature called Laurel and Hardy's Laughing 20s. Get a load of this. Stan was small, but he stayed in good shape because he had a great health secret. He let Ollie do all the heavy work. You know, I never had the privilege of knowing Oliver Hardy personally, and I've always felt that I missed something. And that's perhaps why I'm so happy that I finally did meet and become a friend of Stan Laurel. In a way, the performers who are gathered here tonight are showing their own affection, not only for Stan and for Ollie, but the entire list of men and women who, through their comedic talents, bring some lightness, some happiness, some fantasy to an otherwise pretty grim old world. For instance, her, him, them. I think that little scene right there proves that Laurel and Hardy could be funny without throwing any pies. You know, the interesting thing about that scene is that you laugh at it, even when you know perfectly well what's going to happen. Now, psychiatrists say that's because we're not laughing at what exactly is funny, but because we enjoy seeing someone getting hurt. You know, with this in mind, there's a new situation comedy on television next season about a big family. They have a series of very funny accidents. By the end of the season, everyone in the family has been hurt. Of course, the following year, the sponsor does a medical show and cures every one of them. It isn't true, of course, but in the old days, they went just about that far to get a laugh. And it's funny how today things have changed a lot. We don't just act ridiculous for the sake of getting a laugh. We like to get away these days from slapstick humor. And I'd like to discuss with you right now that very subject, the development of comedy in this country. And I'm very happy to report to you that comedy has reached a level of sophistication of which I think we can all be proud. We no longer laugh at, say, what our grandparents laughed at, loud humor or slapstick humor. And by that, I mean humor that is based on cruelty and on physical pain. Most people... Most people today feel that there's nothing really funny about other people being in pain. Now, I suppose back in ancient times when it... I suppose back in ancient times that a primitive man might have laughed at another human being in some kind of real and actual physical pain. Nowadays, of course, modern people, intelligent people, don't fall for that kind of humor. The modern-day comedian gets his laughs, I think, by using his intellect. And he doesn't stoop to that, what is a really lower kind of physical pain comedy. Actually, only the infantile mind today, the childlike mind, would laugh at someone who was in serious pain and possibly suffering from blood poisoning. As I say, an infantile, a childlike mind would laugh at that, but you wouldn't, and I... Oh, boy. Today, modern comedians come out in front of an audience and talk seriously to them. But they come out and they bring a stool or a chair, and their wit is what comes to. I think Sigmund Freud said it first. He's the one who discovered it, I'm sure, that laughing at a person in pain is actually a manifestation of a deep-seated hostility. Professor Freud, for instance... Oh, I'm sorry, Philip. Get him out of here. Oh, thank goodness we have reached a point in our civilization where we no longer laugh at people hurt or destroying themselves. And I'm very happy to say that today I think you'd have to look all over the world to find someone who'd laugh at a man who fell down and hurt himself. Thank you very much. It's like a bit I saw in the Laurel and Hardy picture. You see, the light wouldn't light, so Stan takes it out, and he does this. Of course, Stan Laurel did this with a trick. Unfortunately, we couldn't duplicate that trick here in the studio, So I'm standing here with 20,000 volts of electricity passing through my body. You know, they did some things in the early movies that no one had ever done in movies before. I think one of the greatest things they ever did in early movies was letting people in to see them for a dime. You know, we have a guest with us this evening who first saw the early movies on the Late Late Show, and it inspired him to make a study of the whole entire art. Mr. Bob Newhart.
Thank you. In doing a little research on movies, which the Stan Laurel special is about, I had to watch a lot of prime-time television, a lot of daytime television, and I found watching Laurel and Hardy at nighttime is a lot different than watching Laurel and Hardy during the afternoon. The main problem is that at night, you only see them as a team. During the afternoon, they're two-thirds of a team. There's Stan and Ollie, and there's Uncle Freddy. This is kind of a stereotype of all kiddie shows across the country. It's called the Uncle Freddy Show, and usually a grown man will walk out with a beanie of some kind, like this on, and if he were anywhere else but a television studio, they would, you know, put him away for a couple of years. Apparently there's something permissive about it in a television. Anyway, he comes out and he and he talks to the kids before the show goes on. He comes out like this.
Well, hi, boys and girls. Well, boys and girls, today is Thursday. And what do we always do on Thursday, boys and girls? Oh, look at it, boys and girls. Come on, boys and girls. What do we always do on Thursday, boys and girls? You don't know what we do on Thursday, do you, boys and girls?
Where do you get the kids?
Thursday's mailbag day, boys and girls. Remember that? Sure you do, boys and girls. Before we get into the mailbag, boys and girls, I have two announcements I have to make. First of all, as you know, usually on Thursday, in addition to the Laurel and Hardy films, we usually show the Three Stooges cartoons. But they've been trying to hold Uncle Freddy up on price, boys and girls, and so we won't be showing the Three Stooges cartoons anymore on the show, boys and girls. But Uncle Freddy has bought another cartoon show, which you boys and girls will enjoy very much. It's called the Army Training Films. We're going to be showing them, and the title of our cartoon today, boys and girls, is Frostbite, so that sounds like a real fun one. Oh, one other announcement, boys and girls. We've added the name of a new sponsor to our blacklist. They canceled out on Uncle Freddy last week. The breakfast cereal Pops, boys and girls, and of course, all the boys and girls in good standing in Uncle Freddy Club, that means that you can have Pops for breakfast in the morning, or play with any little boys and girls who do eat Pops. Okay, all right, boys and girls. Boys and girls, before we get into the Laurel and Hardy cartoon for today, I have one other announcement. A lot of boys and girls have written about the $27 decoding ring. That box, once again, boys and girls, is box number 507. Remember that. Apparently, one little boy wrote in a letter, and he said instead of the decoding ring, he got back some pictures of older girls in sort of bathing suits. that was a slip-up in Uncle Freddy's office. That's a little service Uncle Freddy runs for some of the older boys and girls. Anyway, boys and girls, just signify the decoding ring, and we won't have that problem. Okay, boys and girls, now let's get ready for the Laurel and Hardy cartoon, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, boys and girls!
Now that the comedy is over, ha ha ha! It's time for the cereal to begin. Ho ho ho! We have to hold our breath, 'cause they scare us half to death. when the hero tries to save the heroine. We save up all our pennies every day so we can come to a Saturday matinee. We never knew so many things could happen to a girl till we started coming to see the perils of Pearl. Splitting headache, is she really up the creek? To be continued next week. Will she flee from temptation? Will she turn the other cheek? To be continued next week. Will she get it in the end? Are her chances rather bleak? To be continued next week. Will they blow up little Pearl? Is her life at stake? To be continued right after station break. Laurel and Hardy, ha ha ha, or we're watching the perils of Pearl. The entertainment is unique, so we're coming back next week. We look forward to our big day. It's the fun time Saturday matinee.
Now, through the magic of a high budget, we take you back to the days of silent pictures. You know, in those days, they played the scenes in pantomime, and later a writer would add the written words for the screen. During emotional scenes, music was played to keep the stars in the mood. We're now going to show you this technique with Cesar Romero playing the silent leading man, Tina Louise playing the silent leading lady, Leonid Kinski directing the silent drama, and Louis Nye as the entire orchestra.
Places.
Oh, BG. Don't you think this beauty mark would look better on Vilma?
Mm-hmm. All right, places. Music. Music. Now, where is that musician for mood music? Now, where is that musician for mood music? Where is that musician for mood music? I ask you, no, tell me, please. Where is that musician? Come here. Do you know what the scene is about?
No.
That's all right. We'll shoot it anyway.
Where shall I stand?
Where shall you stand? Well, look, I don't care where you stand, but don't get in front of that camera. Listen, just match the music to this scene, that's all. Now, look here. When there is hate, I want hate music. When there is love, give me love music. Got it? All right. Places, everybody, let's go. Where's Vilma? Where's Vilma? Vilma! Darling, you lovely thing, you. Come with me. Now, listen. Vilma, in this scene, you're pacing anxiously, waiting Rod to come home. Huh? Now start pacing. Lovely. Exciting. Vilma, darling, it's beautiful. It's perfect. Only one thing.
What?
Not here, darling. There, in front of the camera. All right, camera, lights, and action! You're facing up and down. All right, dear. Now, get the door. Get him another fiddle and keep going. Get him another fiddle and keep going. get him a new fiddle and keep going. Player and keep going.
Although the adulation of millions of people was proof enough of Stan Laurel's success, his colleagues felt he was deserving of a much sought-after symbol of fame. So in the year 1961, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences gave him an Oscar. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Danny Kaye.
This is the Oscar that Stan Laurel won in April of 1961. I accepted the award for him, and I must say I was deeply moved because Stan Laurel was more than just a brilliant comedian. Stan had that incredible quality of making anything funny. Even something just as simple as putting in a window frame. See what I mean? I would imagine that everybody who receives an Oscar is thrilled. But Stan's reaction was slightly more than just thrilled. I wish I had been at his house when this next bit of film was shot of him.
I've been looking at some film, mostly of myself, however, so I think I better go ahead as planned and show you something from a Laurel and Hardy picture. Now, this is a piece of business that Laurel and Hardy did that is certainly just as funny today as it was then. As a matter of fact, this thing is so funny it'll probably show up in 4 new television series this year. I'm kidding. It already turned up in 4 new television series this year. Wasn't that great? We've got some other wonderful film here, but the man who starred in it can explain it better than I can. Another face you've seen Oh, for years and years. And how he can keep using that same face and not wear it out, I don't know. So here he is, the handsome... Well, not handsome, maybe. The beautiful... Well, not beautiful. Pretty? No. The attractive? Well, maybe. Phil Silvers.
I'm, of course, very happy to be included in this tribute to Stan Laurel. That wonderful little man brings on a great wave of nostalgia to me. I remember when we were kids, we flocked to that little theater in Flatbush every time there was a new Stan Laurel picture. All the kids would rush around trying to scrape together that 10 cents admission. Say, it took almost a day and a half to steal enough milk bottles. That was the Nielsen rating of the day. When Laurel and Hardy pictures were showing, more milk bottles were stolen than during the run of any other picture. I guess what we really loved about Stan Laurel was his portrayal of the little man. The little man being pushed around, being stepped upon, like this. This. And this. My own life is a good example of a little man. Now, you take, for instance, the day I was born. Uncle Louie and Aunt Phoebe, they were disappointed. So were Mom and Pop. You see, they had expected a child. Being born isn't the last beating a little man takes. Got a load of me at 10 years of age.
Shine on, harvest moon.
An unusual boy. The shining talent that was Phil Silvers was apparent.
Shine on, shine on.
I didn't know it, but I had reached the age where the little hormones were asking me, what do you want to be, a little boy or a girl? Many sensitive children would have given up, but the little man, often beaten, seems to have an inner courage that makes him stand up and get beaten again. A little inner courage is called masochism. Or whatever you call it. Little Phil tried again. This had me worried, but it got me jobs. I began to appear in little shows. We played the Palace. Well, not exactly the Palace, just outside of it. It was a tough life. How do you like that combination? A mouth organ and 2 garbage can covers. The melody was carried by the flies we drew. You notice I'm not wearing glasses there? I had on contact lenses. Well, they didn't have real contact lenses in those days. They used thin little underwear buttons. They looked through the 4 holes. But I found out one thing about wearing contact lenses. People will hit you when you're wearing them. Notice, if you wear glasses, they won't hit you. It's a moral code even bullies live by. As a matter of fact, even when my eyes were good, I wore glasses. I went through a phase of being a coward. I'm just about over it. But now I was beginning to emerge. Sometimes it's not too good to emerge. Isn't he awful? That's because he doesn't practice. There's only one way to make a kid practice. Should have done that when he was singing. I finally got my chance. I auditioned for the famous Gus Edwards.
Shine on.
I was a little bigger than the others. The doctors said it was glandular. I felt that perhaps it was because I was 40 years old. Gus Edwards was just a step to stardom, but I missed it. Yes, though beaten, discouraged, and the victim of fate, the little man clings to survival and does what he can for bread and butter. Just the gigolo. Ah, the office of marriage I turned down. Not to mention 3 for men when I was singing like a girl. I didn't mind the leading. It was the lifting that got me. But losing that job was the best thing that could have happened. From now on came the big break. Burlesque, the chance for stardom. I played Brooklyn. Pittsburgh. Chicago.
You know, I didn't see much of those cities, but I sure met a lot of cops.
Yeah. How are you? I wish that nut would let me tell my own life story. Well, at last I felt success was near. I was arrested in Los Angeles. A producer saw me in night court and thought I would be perfect for a big motion picture feature. Can you imagine the thrill? A star in pictures. Now, of course, Betty Grable was also in the picture. As a matter of fact, she had a good part. As a matter of fact, it was a better part than mine. Will you get her off? I said get her off. Will you? Will you get her? Thank you. Now, I have nothing against her. I hope she makes it. You know, kindness is a lovely quality. But why should only the little man have it? Yes, that's true. The little man, though pushed around, beaten, has kindness and sweetness in him. This was Stan Laurel. And so I, too, pattern my life and work after the example set by this wonderful performer. No matter what I played, I try to maintain the sweetness, the gentleness, the kindliness of the spirit he exemplified.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gregory Peck.
On behalf of the Motion Picture Relief Fund, I want to assure you that those two carpenters, Laurel and Hardy, didn't build our country home. It stands very solidly on its foundation because of the contributions that the men and women of our industry have made, including the very handsome check we'll receive from this program tonight. This helps us live up to our slogan, we take care of our own. There are many, many people to thank. All those performers that you're seeing here tonight, as well as Stan and Ollie in the selected scenes from a new, hilarious feature motion picture, Laurel and Hardy's Laughing 20s. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us.
It's the same old time in 65, Stanley. There are brand new folks of the same old jokes, Stanley. They're packing them in wherever the joke is, stacking them in wherever the hoke is, and no matter who the bloke is, he'll say,
Baby,
pow, pow, pow.
what kind of a rumble have you got us in now?
old kick from the same old shtick. Stanley, that's why you're a top banana in our book. We won't forget your funny face, so we won't even try. You're still a clown from our hometown. Stanley, 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 you're a wonderful
Time to say goodnight to these two wonderful men, Oliver Hardy and Stan Laurel. There's no use saying goodbye to them because we'll be seeing their films for years to come, which is hardly like having them here, but it's the next best thing. I wish to thank all the wonderful performers for being here tonight, and MGM and producer Robert Youngson for the use of the film from Laurel and Hardy's Laughing 20s. Good night.
Now, fellas, let's not have any of that.
The Red Skelton Hour will be shown at its usual time next week.